Hi everyone, David again. Another story I want to tell. Well, it's gonna bear with me. This is gonna be a very long story, very long. I had to tell this story based on what's going on in Louisiana with the Ten Commandments being displayed in schools down there. And I'm labeling the story. I'm calling it "Why Religion Cannot Be Taught or Discussed in the Public Schools." It's against the law for one thing. It's against the Constitution between separation of church and state. But this situation that I'm gonna explain happened in 1981 with a teacher I previously talked about. I called her Mrs. So and So in Paul Fly Elementary, Norristown Area School District, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. It was Christmas time, Christmas of 1981, and that's on December 22nd, 23rd, the last few days before the Christmas break. And we didn't have much. It wasn't really a Christmas party, but we were finishing our classwork. Wasn't much. It was going to be the half day, and the teacher said, and Mrs. So and So said, "I guess you can. Okay, we're done with the class, and no, got our classroom work, and you can get ready to get ready to leave school. Get your jackets, your bags. Um, talk among yourselves. We're done. So." We're waiting for the announcement or a buzzer over the intercom to tell you the bus has arrived. You can go. And I think she turned at her desk to look at her newspaper or something. She was occupying her own time. There were about, I'd say, no more than 8 to 10 students in the class. And she said, no, just talk among yourselves before. No, no, just no. She didn't say there was no control of the discussion. She was at her desk, minding her own business, and she said, "No, talk among yourselves." No, and no, there wasn't. The classroom was vaguely dressed for Christmas decorations, little bit. We didn't make a big deal of it. We had no Christmas party, and it was about three. It was definitely about 4 or 5, possibly 6 students involved in what I'm going to explain. I was not involved in the conversations. I just listened. Now, as students in fourth grade, we didn't pay attention to what our backgrounds were, our nationalities were, ethnicities, our religions, nothing like that. We're just students. And there were all kind of races, and all kinds. There was Caucasian, myself, white. There were black students. There were Asian students. There was all kinds of nationalities, and we were just students. We all just we're boys and girls, and we didn't care. We didn't look upon ourselves of different how different we look, where our skin was different, or how we physically look different, or how talk we different, or where we come from. No, nothing like that. We're just students. We're just boys and girls. But there was no girls in the if there was other girls in the classroom, I don't recall. But there were definitely boys involved in this conversation. Um, we all want to know what we were doing for Christmas break. And it was myself. I can't remember. There definitely was between three, four, five, 6 of us. At least for 3, 4, 5 of the students, all men, all boys. And definitely there was a black student. There was an Asian student. I don't know if it was Chinese, Japanese. I have no clue. I am not one to figure out if you stood a Chinese, Japanese, Korean, anybody in front of me, I could never tell the difference. Sorry, I just can't tell the difference. But so there may have been 2 black students, other white students. There was an Asian student, and we were talking about what we're doing for Christmas. And that's the question we asked ourselves. And I, strange as it sounds, came out that some of us that went to their whether our religion involved the mass, the church meeting. We go to Christmas mass. Well, we didn't. There was the words started coming up: Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, Muslim, and these students would go. I go here, I go there, and our parents take us these places. And wow, we're finding this fascinating and interesting. We had never heard of these words. We may have heard it on the news, our parents talking about it, but we didn't connect it with ourselves. And he's an Asian student. He apparently was had Buddhist background, Buddhist parents. And one of the black students apparently had Muslim parents and went to a mosque. And one was one of the white students that were Christian, one was Catholic, and and my parents were Jewish, but my parents never pushed me into the religion like you have to follow, have to practice. But I knew my parents vaguely, they knew the Jewish religion. My mother was born and raised Jewish. My father converted. He was Catholic but converted when they got married. To explain that, but another long story why they never raised me strictly to follow religion. Anyway, the strange word that came out is that we're learning that each other had different religions. We still did not know what these religions were. They were going to church, so my people go to a mosque, or my people go to church. My people go here, there, all the different religions, and like where we live, each towns we lived in. We're finding this very, very fascinating. And here comes the buzzer over the comm. Okay, students line up for the buses. Teacher, Mrs. So-and-so says, okay, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And we all said Merry Christmas to her. We all left. This was December 22nd, 23rd. This is like the day before. It may have been the 24th, Christmas Eve. I'm not sure. But around that time, the end before the Christmas break. Well, fast forwarding, we return, and it's now January 4th, because the first time it ends up on a weekend. So we're returning Monday, January 4th. Mrs. So-and-so does not appear in our classroom. Another teacher shows up, and we're saying, where is she? We're bugged. But the substitute teacher, whoever it was, said, okay, it says she's not here. We're gonna do no. I'll follow her classroom book, her lessons, and we kept insisting, where is she? We did not let up on that, and eventually we hear the word. Listen, she's not here because she was suspended. What? We were talking with, some of us knew what suspension was, some of us didn't. What happened? I cannot talk about it. She's insisting. We have to do our classwork. We can't talk about it. And then all of a sudden we started spreading the words. Other students coming in says, Miss Sosa was suspended. What? We're in shock. But the substitute teacher, listen, you have to do your classwork. Don't worry about what I said. And when we went to our other classes, the word was spreading. She had been suspended for some reason. No idea why. And that spread. And apparently other teachers, maybe they probably knew about this. And the other students learned, what the heck happened? Well, I said January 4th, I believe, was on a Monday. And I believe she came back on the end of the week, Friday. She appeared. And we're like, you're back. And her face, you could tell was depressed. She was like not happy at all. Like, good to be back. How was your vacations? Nothing. She didn't ask us nothing. We did. What happened? We heard you were suspended. Oh, her face lit up. Her face picked up. I can't talk about it. We got to do our classwork. And we again did not let up. What happened? We were suspended. What happened? No, we're not doing. And then even I and others, we're not doing it. We don't know what happened. And I can't talk. And she's getting really upset. I'm not supposed to talk about this. I'm already enough trouble as it is. Oh, man. Before we left for Christmas break, did any of you say that we were discussing religion in class? And I and the black student said, yeah, but you weren't involved in that conversation. It was us. Well, apparently one of your parents contacts the school district and told them I was teaching religion in class. The biggest gasp. Everybody, all class, the full class is 10 or 15 students. What? We were all yelling. You had nothing to do with that. That's not what my bosses were told. Not the school district. The superintendent was told. Again, we got to do our class. We were not letting up about this. So you were not involved in this. How can they suspend you? Me and another student, one of those students. How can they suspend you? You had nothing involved in this. So we were discussing. We were learning each other's religion. Apparently, just words came up. Well, apparently, one of your parents called the school district, the superintendent, saying I was teaching religion, talking about religion, which is it's against the law. It is? What? That wasn't me. Another student. It is? Yeah, it is. Says we got to stay on our classwork. Now, the conclusion of how we figured what happened was it was weeks later that one of the students, and I don't recall which one. It was all years later. It's amazing that I can remember such detail, but I'm not sure which one. Apparently, their parent questioned them on the Christmas party's activities. It wasn't a Christmas party, but we were discussing each other's religions. And the parent asked, "What class were you in, Mrs. So-and-so?" So this parent took that statement that asking what happened during a Christmas party, which never occurred, the students that took upon themselves to talk about religion out of nowhere, that in that particular teacher's name comes up, that this parent became, I would conclude, paranoid that teacher was discussing religion because that parent asked what class were you in, what teacher's class were you in discussing religion. So that parent jumped the gun, believing the teacher was discussing religion in class. That's how this got concluded. And this student, and 3 or 4 of us were discussing, this is about a month, close to a month later, after the end of January, that their parent, now as an adult, I'm going to use this word, was paranoid that it might have been the one that was one Christian or Catholic, which I'm not sure which one, that the parent did not want their child knowing of another religion's existence. We never heard about these other religions. Whether I'm Jewish, I never heard of Catholic, or Christians never heard of Buddhists, never heard of, it was so new to us. But because this parent wanted to know specifically what was going on at our Christmas party, which nothing happened. A discussion of what we were doing came up, and we were learning about each other's religion. It was so brief, it was so vague. This parent was so paranoid, did not want their child to know of another person's religion. It didn't exist, whether it was the Christian, it was a student was Christian, or the student was Catholic, or whatever it was. They did not want their students learning of another religion existed. But because the parent asked, what teacher's class were you in? They said, Mrs. So-and-so. That parent believed, paranoid, jumped the gun, believing that the teacher brought the discussion up. The teacher was teaching religion in school. So the parent apparently somehow, before how they made contact with the superintendent of the school district during the Christmas break, or just as we're going to restart school for the year, contacts the people in charge of the schools and said, this teacher is talking about religion, and I don't want my kid learning about other religions. It's against the law. We don't want my God. This is what we were concluding happened. And then apparently the officials talked to Mrs. So-and-so, and we did not know about, oh my God, suspended based on the parents' paranoia and jumping the gun at what the students said, aware of what classroom they're in the particular teacher, thinking the teacher brought this up. The parent wanted immediate action against this teacher. So a suspension apparently occurred. Oh my God. You want to hide your child from other religions? You know, it's one thing we have freedom of religion. It's the Bill of Rights, and one of those rights is the freedom of religion. That's what this country was originally created based on, freedom of religion. To it's to go as far as to have a teacher suspended, and you don't know all the facts. You jumped the gun, but it's everyone's rights in this country to follow the religion, practice whatever the religion they want. It's my ultimate argument against any parent, any religion. Your child has just as much right to learn religion as you do. You don't have the right to force your child to follow your religion. Sometimes the child would want to follow it. Sometimes they don't. And my father had problems with the Catholic religion growing up, and he converted to Jewish and married my mother. But he found problems with the Jewish religion also. So he allowed me to, you practice whatever you want to practice. But to be honest, people will call me, no, some would look at me as an atheist. No. I'm an agnostic. No, I don't take any religious label. This is how I look upon religion. If something extraordinary happens in my life, I will look to the sky and say thank you. It's as far as I'm willing to go. But to hide your child from religion in a way that it's your religion only, that's violating the law. And to have a teacher suspended, okay, you didn't know all the facts. It was the students talking among themselves. But the teacher was, the whole thing was dropped because I think the students discussed it with other teachers. What happened in that class that day at Christmas break? So that followed up that it was not the teacher's fault. It was ours. I wouldn't say fault either. We had the right to discuss whatever we want to discuss. It's a free country. But a parent gets so paranoid, jumps the gun, and attacks a teacher by having them suspended, if not close to being fired, is utterly ridiculous. And you wonder why religion cannot be taught in schools is because you have it's selfishness from the parents. Yes, you're not supposed to. What you learn in school is fact. F-A-C-T. Fact. Religion is belief and faith. Now, I'm not disrespecting anyone's religion. You have this country. You have your right and faith and belief to follow whatever you want. My father once said, the place you don't discuss religion or politics in school or work. There's too many differences. Fine. But what happened that day was paranoia and selfishness by a parent who wanted to hide their child from religion. And for Louisiana, whatever school district or school it was, to stick that the Ten Commandments into a school. I got a reply for that. The Bible. I got a question for the Bible. Who's the author? Who wrote it? Okay, it's hundreds or thousands of years old. It's stories. Now, if people want to follow the example of what's written in that book, that's your right. You're right in this country. You don't have the right you have to follow. You should be reading this book. You should be following this book. You should believe in this book. It's just a book. I'm not offending the Bible. I'm not attacking it. I'm not attacking anyone's religion. But you can remember, everyone, we have the constitutional right to freedom of religions, among our Bill of Rights, just like the freedom of speech is. So I had to tell the story of why I think that religion cannot be taught or discussed in class. Because of what happened that day. and a parent becoming so selfish and paranoid, thinking a teacher taught religion or discussed it, and it wasn't the case whatsoever. It was us as students learning of each other's religion and backgrounds. That's all it was.